I had to have some dramatic music to start this video out because I'm going to tell you a little bit about the PFAFF or PFAFF sewing machine company history. It was founded in Kaiserslautern, Germany in 1862 by instrument maker George Michael Pfaff, or PFAFF, who lived from 1823 until 1893. And PFAFF made their first machine for leather sewing to make shoes. And in 1864, while Mr. Pfaff or PFAFF was experimenting, he made his first sewing machine, which is still on display now in the Munich Museum of Science and Technology. So this company's been around 150 plus years, and it's been all about sewing excellence. All the way back in 1922 when the 130s were rolling out, and then later when this 332 came out, the latter part of the 1940s going into the 1950s, depending on which accounts you can consider to be absolutely accurate. And then finally in 1960, the Model 260, later to be followed by the 262, the 360, and the 368 rolled off the assembly lines. But it all started on a very small scale, kind of like this YouTube channel, and now it's grown into something much bigger than anyone could have imagined. But our focus today is talking about this PFAFF 332 owned by Gretchen, who happens to live, I believe, in Panama City, Florida. So, woohoo to the Panama City, Florida people. And I'm going to show you a couple of things on this machine. Let me zoom in a little bit. And I should say up front, we're not going to be concentrating so much on the creative side of what this 332 can do, which is significant. I'm just going to show you a couple of things real quick. This little knob on the bottom right, is obviously for the purpose of lowering the feed dogs. Quick and easy, and you can turn it to make them pop back up again. Here's our light control right now, which you can see from the sewing bed, sort of. is already on. And then right over here, we're going to zoom in on this area, right there on that knob. And we're looking at a couple of things. I'm going to step over by the camera real quick. A couple of the things that this will do is it will allow you to sew in reverse if you rotate this to your left as you're looking at it. And then this is also stitch length control as well. So it's got two control features in that particular area. As we move up, you can see right here would be for winding a bobbin. We're going to be coming across the top through this thread guide right here. Can you see that? But first of all, you come right over the top of this one right here. That's actually a tension control area on top of that control knob, which is control knob E if you look in the owner's manual. So you'll come past that, and then you come through here, and then you end up coming way over here back to the bobbin again. You just push that front part forward to engage it. Obviously, you also disengage the clutch. A lot of givens here just because of the experience and the knowledge of my friends that are watching these videos. In this area right here, you got all kinds of controls, and I'm only going to concentrate on a couple of them. I'm going to flip my screen around, and I'll go over those real quick. The one at the very top of the screen, as I said, is control knob E, and you're only going to be accessing that E control up here on top when you're working with the buttonhole features of this machine. So other than that, you're not going to see it on the stitch pattern guide. It's not going to be on there. You're going to have A, B, C, and D, and that's about it. And A is slightly off the screen. It's going to be in this access panel right above where my hand is. It pivots back. I probably should have widened that shot just a little bit more to make it easier instead of getting you like in radio to use your imagination. So I'm going to come up just a little bit. There we go. That makes that a little bit easier. Okay. So again, as you're looking at the stitch guide controller, this up here, this little panel here that pivots open like so, is going to give you access to control area A as in apple. And then if we move over to this one here, we're looking at control B as in Bravo. Control C is right down here. This little lever that you can depress and allow you to change needle position, either up or down, moves you left or right. And then finally, we have control D right here in the middle. And then again, we have control E all the way on top. And again, control E, we're not going to really be accessing that. Control E and this knob right here are going to be working in concert as far as buttonholes, which we're not going to be doing. We're not going to be concentrating on that. So there's basically A, B, C, D that controls all the stitch outputs. And you're going to set those various points using a stitch controller similar to, let me see if I can find it. I should have had it closer, but it's not actually for this machine. So, all right, here it is. Something like this is the type of dial-a-stitch or stitch wheel that you can get. They sell them aftermarket on eBay and other places, and it will give you those different set points for control knobs A, B, C, and D, so you can have the different stitch outputs of this PFAFF 332. You're not going to need to insert any cams on this machine. The Germans are smart. They already built them in. And you can see on this card, which even though it's not specifically for this machine, this one is for the model 260, 262, 360, 362, and 368, but it's going to be real similar. And you're going to have stitch patterns on one side for single needle sewing, and then if you turn it over, you're going to have stitch settings for dual needle sewing as well. So you're not going to run out of options on this incredible machine, trust me. Okay, so before I run out of battery power, I better move on and simply tell you that we're going to do some heavy duty sew-offs, and I've made a little bit of a change out as far as the traditional sewing foot that is on this machine, and I put a walking foot on it, partly because a gentleman that I've been in communication with expressed an interest in getting a walking foot that would work with his 332, and I told him I think I have one. So this one that you see in the camera right now is not going to go with Gretchen's machine. It's potentially going to get offered to a customer that is looking to do that type of sewing. So, and when it comes to sewing with a walking foot, if you buy one aftermarket, even if you buy one that someone tells you is specifically made for your PFAFF sewing machine, never ever put it on and hit that foot control. You always want to put it on and then slowly turn that balance wheel so that you can make sure that through the different stitch patterns that machine will put out, and it could be true of a PFAFF, it could be a Husqvarna, could be a Singer, it doesn't matter. But you're always going to, by hand, turn that balance wheel slowly to make sure you have adequate clearance. Otherwise, you're going to have that needle strike that attachment, and you could cause damage to your machine, okay? So, and you also have options as well. I'm just going to hold it in front of the camera. This is a vintage roller wheel, which you can attach just as well as a walking foot, and it does an excellent job on heavy grade sewing. So I'm going to set that to the side as well, just to give you some vision as to the possibilities. Okay, so the first thing we're going to sew off on is genuine cowhide leather. I've got a single layer. We're just going to go down it nice and easy and give you a chance to see this machine sew, and also give you an opportunity to hear it as well, because I think the wonder of a machine is not only what it can do, but also how it sounds when it's doing it. So, all right, here we go. A single layer of genuine cowhide leather. And I'm going to intentionally take it a little bit slow just so you can see you don't have to go pedal to the metal using a walking foot like this. Okay? I'll pop this up, give that a little bit of a pull, and then I'm going to show you our stitch quality. And again, when you're putting that thread back and you're dealing with a walking foot, just make sure you get that tucked back into the right spot between the grooves of that walking foot again, so that you don't have a mishap when you go back to sewing again, okay? All right, so here's our top stitch right here. And I should mention, as an honorable mention, the reason that I picked pink thread is not because it's breast cancer awareness or anything like that. I picked it because when Janie was visiting the workshop, she came in her really cool Volkswagen and she talked about her love of pink. And I thought about it for a second. I never sew with pink thread. I use different crimson ones and brown ones and yellow ones and you name it, but I very seldom go with the pink. So Janie, this is for you, kiddo. And this stitch quality is through the roof. It's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And if we turn it over, you know what? You better pull that back, because this 332 doesn't mess around. It drives it into that leather nice and deep. So you've got a lock stitch that is not going to come undone. Whatever you sew, it's done. All right, so that's a single layer. Easy peasy for this PFAFF 130, excuse me, this PFAFF 332. I still have 130 on my mind. I guess for a second I reverted back to 1922 when the PFAFF 130 first rolled off the assembly line. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and bring that to the highest point. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to do 2 layers of that same genuine cowhide leather. That's going to go ahead and put us at pretty close to, I would say, about 8 ounces of leather. Let's see how this machine does with a load that is as difficult as this. Here we go. All right, I'm going to speed it up a little bit just so you don't think that this is a sluggy machine, because it is not. Isn't that walking foot fun to watch? Maybe I'm entertained too easily, but I just think it's fun to watch. It's so cool. All right, so needless to say, even with that much leather going underneath that presser foot, this 332, German engineered and loving to work hard, said, what's the big deal, buddy? And look at again with that bright pink thread that Janie loves so much, just how spectacular that stitch quality is. I mean, that is absolutely spot on. If we turn it over, but at any rate, you're going to see that we've got again a beautiful lock stitch as well. The stitch quality, the spacing, the formation is absolutely spot on. So again, if you look at it from the end, we'll look at it from this end, it's probably easier. Again, we went through about 8 to 10 ounces of leather, and again, this 332 did it with no difficulty whatsoever. The final thing we're going to do, and just for fun, is we're going to do 3 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas. And I could fold these and do them individually, but I'm just going to buzz over them and just have a little bit of fun throttling this machine up and down so that you can listen to it and see what it can do. And we're not doing anything super fancy here, although we could go from a straight to a zigzag, but for right now I'm just going to have fun and do a straight stitch and also do some turning with it as well, maybe just to let you see the maneuverability even with a walking foot like this attached. All right, here we go. 3 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas. And I've got no excuse today. I've got a foot control. If I were to hold it up, it looks like a bus pedal on this 332, and it's an original one that Gretchen sent that I had to rewire the motor, all kinds of electrical things going on with this machine, but she's loving life right now. So here we go. 3 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas. All right, let's punch it up a little bit. All right, I'm going to try to make this turn. No guarantees, folks. Ha ha ha! Yeah! Woo! I'm going to keep my thread out of the way this time, so I hopefully don't hit it again. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to raise my presser foot and come back down for the final stretch. Here we go! Stop! Ha ha! Woo! All right, come on there. Behave, behave, behave. Doggone it. All right, let me give this a quick clip, and then we're going to take a look at this stitch quality. Okay, there's our top stitch right there. You know what? If you're seeing anything other than, wow, look at it this way as well. Everything about that stitch is just absolutely spot on. The formation, the stitch spacing is absolutely spectacular. If we turn it over, we've got an equally gorgeous lock stitch as well. And again, this is not a huge task for this German-engineered PFAFF 332. This is only 3 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas. But you know what? If you tried this on another machine, a contemporary one, a Walmart brand or something like that, no knock against Walmart, great company overall, but you know what? You're not going to see it get the job done this easily. There's just no way at all. So, you know, let me say this, that the PFAFF 332, or the PFAFF 332, if you will, is everything about heavy duty. And you know, when it comes to heavy duty, it's more than just getting through certain grades of material. It's all about getting the job done and having a quality stitch and having the machine perform so that it sounds like the machine is having as much fun as you are doing the sewing. It shouldn't sound labored. It shouldn't sound like it's struggling. And so many machines in the same class as this one that have not been restored properly, have not been serviced to that level where they can enjoy life just as much as the sewer. This machine that's heading back to Panama City to Gretchen is going to have so much fun with her owner getting projects done through the winter. You know, when Gretchen sent this, it was bleak. The machine wouldn't really run. It was having so many struggles. And as you may have seen through some of the Facebook posts, I went through and did all the rewiring and optimizing that electrical power. And as I've done in some other videos, insulating wires so that electricity, like air in a tire, can't leak out. You know, that is one of the really critical things in maximizing a machine and getting it to perform at a level that makes sewing fun, makes it exciting. Probably more exciting than the intro music that I used, but you know, I'm using what YouTube gives me, so send them letters and say, give him more fun music maybe. But, you know, the PFAFF Sewing Machine Company is really one that has bragging rights. It's been around for over 150 years. And from the very humble and simple roots of the founder, George Michael PFAFF, or PFAFF, who passed away in 1893, it's got such a proud legacy. And for the most part, it's stuck to it. Unlike other companies that won't be mentioned, maybe they will be mentioned, like Singer, Husqvarna Viking, that really have taken many steps away from their original founding legacy of quality craftsmanship, and now are mass producers of disposable machines. And any of you that are using those machines, you've had your challenges, you've had your own trials with them. I've had some of those conversations with you. So you know that the contemporary version of some of these great machines that have such a proud legacy just isn't doing justice to what their roots are. I mean, it's that simple. These are machines that should be lifelong partners in sewing, and so many of them are falling by the wayside now. And it's because they didn't hold true to what originally inspired them to want to create these marvelous machines. And shame on them. Shame on them for doing that. A little bit more kudos to PFAFF and to some other makers that have tried to, for the most part, follow those roots and at least stay true to some of that so that their machines can be counted on. So again, a salute to George Michael PFAFF, born 1823, passed away in 1893, who had the vision through making shoes in the very beginning, back in, what did I say, 1862, I guess it was. You know, the vision of what the possibilities of sewing could look like. And the Germans have done such a wonderful job of honoring that tradition and keeping great machines running like this 332. So stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching this premiere video, and keep on sewing.